Hi everyone, welcome back to Jai After Hours. I'm interior designer Jas Ancheta,
And I'm architect Andy.
and we are still coming from our pop-up store here in Molito, Alabang. We have been having so much fun in this environment, but remember we're only here until May. So come and visit us while you can.
So today, our episode will be about this or that. So we're gonna put head to head on the biggest debates in furniture, finishes, kitchen design, and styles.
We'll be sharing which ones we personally prefer, but more importantly, when the other option actually works better for the client. Because at the end of the day, there's no objective best. It's all about what fits your lifestyle.
So we'll start with the first segment, which is furniture.
Yes, so we're talking about custom versus ready-made. So, what would you really want? The luxury of a perfect fit versus that of speed and the convenience of retail. So, of course, of custom, we get to really go into the details, the sizes of your furniture. While there may be standard sizes, there are also some furniture that depends on the design can be bigger than what the standard is versus the ready-made well, it's basically what you can see in our furniture stores. So what do you think, Andy?
I think custom is good if you want something specific for you, and ready-made if
If you're in a
not,
hurry.
yeah, if you're in a hurry,
if you want something,
or if you can find already the furniture pieces that already fit in your space.
correct. Because again, at the end of the day, for me, it's really about what fits your lifestyle, what type really would work for your space. Because depends also on your space. If it's, let's say, a condo, there are only certain types of furniture that you can actually use there, and a lot of times we use multifunctional furniture, meaning to say some can be double purpose. So let's say an ottoman that has a storage inside, so you want something like that. And when you go to a lot of furniture stores here, a lot of them actually do have furniture that's specific for condos. So it's a matter of really knowing what specific stores you go to if you're in a hurry. But if you have the luxury of time, and if you want something that would last, you know, really long, custom is the way to go.
Yes, but do note, if you do custom, it's more expensive than ready-made.
Well, depends on the brand,
The
but
brand,
also
of course.
because again, we have local, we have imported furniture. So once you go higher, a lot of them actually, even if it's retail, it actually ends up being more expensive. So it's actually, there's no one size fits all. I think that at the end of the day, you have to know what you want and know what would fit your space so that everything also works together.
Yes, so the next one is wood versus metal. So
So
we get this question a lot when it comes to bed frames.
yeah, me personally, I go for wood. I did metal before. The ones that you actually buy in, in furniture stores. That's like you have a metal frame, and then the what do you call this? The support of the bed are just those tiny wooden slats. That's that you lay it out with there's kind of a fabric that puts it all together. After a year or so, the slats keep on moving around, and then you end up the bed isn't even steady. So, well, I don't know. For me, I'd prefer wood because you can really customize it, and there's the best part of that is for bed in particular. You can put like a whole plywood sheet that would really support your back, because at the end of the day, sleep is important. So the position of your body should be straight. Well, not straight, but following the curve of your spine, basically.
Yeah, just to add, I think it also depends on what kind of wood is used
Right,
for
of
your
course.
We're very specific here, bed frame.
Sorry, that's not the first thing that came to my
Yeah.
mind. But actually, we have metal here.
Yes.
The chairs the bar chairs we're sitting on is a metal frame. This works. I mean, so it's again hard to say that
Which
what.
is better, but
Yes.
really it depends on the sturdiness or the quality of the
Right.
material.
At the end of the day, it's how the furniture maker made the furniture. Is it something that is durable, or is it something that is tightened just by a screw, and then later on the screw loosens, and then it falls apart. So you don't want that.
Yep, so we're gonna move on to the next one, which is fabric versus leather. I
What
don't
do you
know.
want?
The-
Me personally, I prefer fabric. I went leather before, but you have to be very meticulous when it comes to care for leather. That means there are just like if you have leather shoes, you have leather conditioners or leather bags. You put all these waxes to make sure that the leather doesn't break. And if you're not able to do that, after a while the leather just breaks, and that happened to me. I was able to buy it secondhand, so it wasn't as expensive as it should be. But then I'd have to like reupholster everything. So
yeah, I think again it depends on the quality, because there's also fake leather, which is common
yes,
nowadays. I don't like fabric specifically if it's gonna get stained, so it depends on the color as well. This is just my preference. And leather also, if it's exposed to sun, it gets discolored.
Yes, it fades. So fabric, there are performance fabrics that actually is used for our commercial spaces, and for these type of fabrics, you are able to have something where, let's say, the stain won't go through the fabric. The water just sits, or the liquid just sits on top of the fabric, and you can easily wipe it off. So there's a lot of things actually to consider in terms of that. So maybe we should move on to the next,
which is
modular versus fixed. So
in what
I think
type?
this is cabinetry. We're talking about not furniture itself, but cabinets. So I think let's make it more specific. Do you go with modular suppliers who do cabinetry, or do you go to your contractor or carpenter and ask them to do the cabinets? I think that's the issue here, or the topic here rather. So I think personally, a lot of it depends on your budget, because there's so many materials we're talking about in terms of cabinets. There are different things that you can use. So at the end of the day, you can do anything. Modular would depend on the supplier. They have different materials, so you'd have to check out the
quality
type of material,
of the work,
the quality
also.
of course, that I think that's very, very important.
Yes.
If you want to have your cabinets made, make sure you don't just go to the showroom, but go to the actual projects that they have. This you can see then if they're able to maintain the quality that you want. And more importantly is the service, because service trumps everything. No matter how good the quality is, if they're not able to address any issues that, let's say, may arise after, then you'll be left solving the problem by yourself.
Okay, so next
Right.
we'll be moving on to local furniture versus imported furniture. This is common because the debate is, do you want to support local or not?
Yes.
Because it's also, just to be honest, it's more expensive, I think. Sometimes
it gets more expensive. It depends really on the supplier again. I mean, there are class A furniture, the top grade ones. Of course, you pay higher for that. There are there are cheaper ones also. But again, you have to be able to discern Is the furniture you're buying, is it worth the money, right? Is the quality good? And you won't, if you're, if you don't look at furniture regularly, if you're not really able to discern, ask designers like us, or because if you just ask the furniture, of course they're just, be selling
Sometimes
to you.
sales talk.
Yes.
But how
So
do we know if it's quality or not?
it's I can compare it to, let's say, clothes or bags. You have to look at the stitching. If it's fabric, you have to look at how the joints are done, meaning, is
If
it
it's screwed or
screwed? Is it just glued? What did they use to fabricate the furniture? Look at the underside of the beds, the backside of the furniture, and the under the seat. You have to see all those things that are like hidden supposedly, and see. Of course, let's say if it's a chair, sit on it, see how sturdy it really is, because go for quality. It will last you longer, and it ends up being cheaper in the long run.
Okay, so that's it for furniture. Now we'll be moving on to finishes. So the first debate that we always get is matte versus glossy finish. So glossy, matte, the non-shiny ones,
Yes.
or glossy, the
The shiny
shiny
ones.
ones.
There's also something in between, like satin, or eggshell. It's something in between matte and glossy.
So which one do we prefer, or what's your take on this, Miss Jas?
I like matte. That goes without showing. Why? Because glossy, unless your finish is perfect, you'd see all the imperfections, because of the reflection of the light on the surface. So whether it's furniture, it's let's say a material, a floor. But of course, it doesn't mean that you just go all matte. Again, there are different reasons for the finish, because matte can also, what do you call this? Not attract, but it's more prone to dust, harder to clean, but then it hides imperfections. So a lot of times, let's say if it's a wall, we go for a satin paint finish. For furniture, let's say this wood, this is like a matte finish. So I know it's gonna be confusing for you all, but again, it will be dependent on what type of material and what surface, what finish, and where you're using it. So
yeah, sometimes glossy can also be luxurious, like in
exactly,
stones,
right?
yes, or where else? Tabletops sometimes.
If it's done right, it's like gonna look really, really good. So again, at the end of the day, it's the quality.
So next, it's natural stone versus engineered. I think, what do we mean by natural and engineered?
Yeah. Natural stone is something that you mine from the earth. So basically, you have your marble, your granite, you have your travertine. What else?
That's all I could think of at the moment.
Slate. You have sandstone, you have limestone. So there's actually a lot of natural materials. And then engineered, or not necessarily just engineered, but synthetic ones, because let's say for marble, you can have synthetic, or you can actually have tile
Is
that
quartz
looks like
considered
marble.
engineered?
Yes.
Okay.
So because it has like yung small
small stones put together.
yes.
Okay.
So it's okay. If you go to this is how we'll put it. If you go to a 5-star hotel, everything is natural. You don't see, if you want luxury, you go with the natural stone. That's it, right? But again, the disadvantage of that, in a sense, is you have to learn how to maintain it, because it's a natural stone. It's not impenetrable. So meaning, if stain something, let's say you're using it for a kitchen surface and then you use marble, it looks really nice, right? But the stain would actually go through the marble. They do have protection that they put a sealer for the stone suppliers, but it only lasts for what, 1 to 2 years. You'd have to be diligent in having to reapply that to make sure that your surfaces are still look good. But then again, it's natural, so don't expect something that's perfect. If you're like very OC, you want like, everything looks so clean, then you go for the synthetic ones, right?
So next one, it's tile versus wood flooring. And this is my favorite debate.
Right.
Well, one, I prefer tile if it's for areas like kitchen,
Right.
the ones that gets wet or with heavy foot traffic.
Correct.
And then wood for
Bedrooms,
yes.
Right.
Or
even
else?
living rooms, actually.
Living rooms.
It really would depend on like where you're using it at. And the reason for that is when you step on wood, real wood, okay, or even there's a lot of wood, okay, so a lot of types of wood. There's the real wood, there's engineered wood also, there's like veneers, but okay, we'll go into that later, next in other episodes. But
Yes.
again, for me, it would depend on where you're using it.
So yeah. So after this, I just want to share. I didn't learn this from I learned this from the foot spa people, Kasi
Right.
they said if they prefer bedrooms have wood flooring because your foot daw tends to get veins. The
You have varicose
varicose
veins. Okay,
Fun fact.
when you walk on wood also,
It's more comfortable.
It's comfortable because it's not that hard, right? So when you walk on it, it feels softer.
It's also warmer.
It's warmer. It adds warmth to your space, so it looks more homely, not very sterile. So again, it depends.
Yeah, so but I think cons, apart from the foot feeling better, the cons of wood is you have to keep it treated. The maintenance wise.
Yes. So wood, usually for flooring in particular, you have to put polyurethane coating on top, varnish on top. And that would protect the wood, but then it doesn't mean that, let's say, you drag furniture across it and it's heavy. Of course, it's going to have streaks.
Yeah.
It's wood. It's not like that hard in a sense.
Yes, and it also expands and.
Oh yes, that's another thing.
The opposite
for floors, for doors. So sometimes when it's raining, especially here in the Philippines, when it's raining, you feel like you're trying to open your solid wood door and it's so hard to open. And the reason for that is that the moisture goes in and it expands the wood. So those are the things that you should consider or tell your builder to consider. So you'll have a little gap between your door jamb, that's the frame of the door, and the door, so that it won't be hard to open.
Yep. So next, it's wallpaper versus paint.
Ooh, I like wallpaper. That's what I'm gonna say. The wallpaper now is different from the wallpaper 20 years ago or more. There's a lot of things that you can do with wallpaper.
Yeah, I've learned by working here, you can place them in cabinets too, or lampshades, depending on your creativity.
Yeah, you can put it on the front of your cabinet. Again, it would depend. Again, we don't just give, let's say, wallpaper, that's it. There are a lot of different types of wallpaper, and a lot of that has to do with what backing it has, some, or what it's made of.
Or where
some
you put it
are
also.
Made of vinyl, and that means it's waterproof. It's
paperback.
Well, not
also.
waterproof. It resists water, and you can clean it. So if it's in a, let's say, powder room, you can use that. But if it's paperback, definitely you don't put it on a bathroom,
Yeah.
or powder room. Sorry, you put it in
Bedrooms.
bedrooms,
Maybe.
right? Mhm.
Or ones with that doesn't involve water.
Correct.
Yeah.
What I like about wallpaper is you can transform your space really. It doesn't have to have like a fancy design. It can add texture, it can add warmth. And if you look at, um, hotels and restaurants, the luxury ones that you want to see, that's how they add warmth. And it makes that, if you want really to have a luxurious feel to your space.
Yeah. So what about paint?
Paint, actually, there's a lot of paint, not just your regular paint that you put on walls. There are faux paint. So you have lime wash paint now. So meaning to say you can have effects, um, you know, you should show samples. But anyway, we'll show it on screen what different kinds of paint you have. So paint, actually, especially for the imported ones, they last longer. They have, not all, okay, depends on the brand. So some of them, usually you have to paint your house or your space within 3 years to 5 years, let's say. Otherwise the paint will fade. It won't be the same as when you first had
put
it
it on.
painted. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there.
Okay, so next we have, for finishes, the dark versus light palettes. I think this is more on colors also.
Color, feel.
Yes, but yeah, that's why we have the color theory.
Correct.
You know.
It doesn't mean, let's say, that it's dark, that it's gonna feel gloomy. Dark actually means we're actually in a black space.
Yes.
What it feels smoothie. It feels actually feels luxurious if you go with black or dark colors. It can work. So again, it would depend on
the function of the space, I think.
yes, and what ambiance you want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, like, how do you want to feel in your space? Do you want it light and airy? Do you want it moody? Right?
Dark. So next, we'll be discussing this or that for kitchen and dining design. So first one, one of the famous one is open versus closed kitchen. So now it's a trend, the open plan, where everything is, you can see from your kitchen, the dining, and the living.
Right.
Like literally, you can see everyone.
There are no walls,
yes,
basically.
no walls. And then there's also the ones from before, closed kitchen, where your kitchen is in a room. So
yes, different from your dining, different from your living.
Separated space. So what about you, Miss Jess? What's your take on this?
It really depends. Me, because we don't have a very big space, relatively, I guess. We have an open plan, so our living, dining, and kitchen is open. But we have, Filipinos, we have dirty kitchen. So all the smelly stuff is there, right? So you can keep it contained. So that's the advantage of having another, the working kitchen, so to speak.
I think the reason why there are people who like the open kitchen is because it's more of a socializing thing.
Correct.
So that when you're either cooking or washing your dishes, you still get to talk to the people, or you get to watch TV at the same time.
Right.
It's just it's an extension of your entertaining space as well.
Correct.
So yeah, so that's your question. You want to be
whatever you feel like. Next.
So next is island versus peninsulas. So what's an island and what is a peninsula? Island is
the one
separate.
Where you have a table.
Like a table
basically,
in the middle.
For the kitchen, yeah.
And a peninsula, if I'm correct, it's the one like if it's an L kitchen, this is open. Tama ba? Ganun. Okay, so just to make sure we're on the same page.
So the island, if you have space, again, if you don't have space, no matter what you're gonna do, you can't really have an island. So it is what it is, right? So in small spaces. Let's say you're in a condo. Sometimes your dining table actually acts as your prep space, right? Because it can be a multi-functional space. It's gonna be usually right beside your kitchen. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, same here. So we'll just move on to the next one, which is bench versus individual chairs. Bench versus.
Bench.
I've only heard about this. The bench is better if you always have guests over.
Oh, really?
So that it's flexible to how many people can
Yeah, actually. Well, yes, but the thing with bench is you don't. Well, some do have backrests, some don't have backrest, or you can put it against the wall. Then you have a backrest, right? So it's really like how you want to use your space. Do you feel? Do you entertain a lot, or do you have a lot of space or minimal space?
Or you just prefer a backrest or not?
Correct, because you can have something done like that. Like, you know the booth seating in restaurants, you have like a very intimate feel of the space that actually works with a bench.
So next, it's integrated versus standalone appliances. We get this a lot. Yeah.
Well, I like integrated, but it's more expensive, like way more expensive. So yeah, if you have the money, why not, right? Because you don't want to like see your appliances. They're not something that you usually showcase unless it's a branded one like Smeg. They have those beautiful looking appliances that's retro, and it's like just works beautifully with your space.
Right? My only question for this is it more harder to maintain the integrated ones?
I don't know because I don't have one. I mean, it's expensive, right? So I choose to show. It is what it is.
Only concern. What if it gets broken?
Well, again, at the end of the day, it's customer service. If you have a really good appliance store that can take care of you, then why not, right? If you can afford it, that means you have the money to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
Then usually those suppliers that actually supply that are also have a similar luxury clients, and they will take care of you. I'm sure of that.
Yes.
I mean, otherwise they won't be able to sell anymore, right?
Yes. So, and apart from that, it's nice to look at.
Yes, because it basically what it means is your appliances look
like it's part of
your
cabinet.
Yeah, or let's say if it's a refrigerator door, you won't see where the refrigerator is because it's actually hidden. So
yeah.
Wow, we're in the last.
So in the last one, it's design styles. So this one, another famous debate: minimalist versus maximalist. Miss Jas, this is your.
I don't know. I would prefer minimalist, but somehow it becomes maximalist. Because life happens. It's hard actually to be minimalist. I mean, I think reality. If you really think about it, if you're not very intentional with the things that you buy, right, or the things that you have, it accumulates over time. And at my age, it happens. And I went through a stage like, ooh, I like all these table setups, and so you do tablescaping, you have a lot of plates, you have a lot of placemats and all that, and that's just for the dining. How about the other areas, like let's say the living room? You have pillow covers. Oh, I went through so many phases of that, and then later I just stopped because then you don't have any more space for storage. Especially us Filipinos, we love Christmas.
Yes.
So every year we have a different design for Christmas. And I've gone through that as well. So I stopped because after a while I was like, okay, there's a sale in Rustans and you have these beautiful ornaments, and then I was like, this will be my last purchase. And I haven't changed, and I'm happy. So because we have too many stuff anyway.
So I think the better situation here is, I think people prefer uncluttered. That's why they like minimalist.
Correct.
But then if you're a maximalist, I don't think that's a problem having too much stuff. I think it's about arranging your
Right.
items or your whatever
You have.
Yeah.
So I think you at the end of the day you should be intentional with what you have, because again, no matter how much space you have, eventually it will add up. So be intentional. If let's say one of the things that you can do is you wanna declutter, right? After let's say you wanna buy something new, maybe you could give away,
or if you have that stuff, so much stuff, maybe why not arrange it to look like, like it's neat,
Right. Yeah. Yes. So it's
meant to be
it really
there.
takes an eye practice, and to intentionally have things look well curated, even if you're a maximalist. But it's actually hard to be a minimalist.
So maybe that's for another episode.
Oh, anyway.
We can do.
Yes.
And then another debate is modern versus classic. So what do we mean by this? I think modern is like clean lines, and classic is more of the.
You have a lot of curves. Traditional. Classic
ornaments
means
also.
Traditional ornaments. So if you talk about design styles in particular, those are from usually other countries. Well, actually, we do have like our old Filipino, which is also inspired by other countries. Our old Filipino furniture. A lot of people nowadays actually do modern. So meaning, let's say, what you have, Japandi. You have farmhouse, but it's modern farmhouse. What makes it different? It's cleaner. You still have some of, let's say, for the farmhouse, because we're doing that a lot lately. So that's why that came into mind. You still have your farmhouse rustic look, but not. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything's rustic. It can be only certain areas. So some are more smooth. You can still have what do you call this, more classic furniture, but the finish can be different. So it is a modern take on like a classic look. So that's how, well, here in the Philippines we do it, because in other countries I've actually seen them, especially when you're in a old building, right? They really want to preserve basically the heritage, which is actually really good. So let's say in your old 60s, 40s, 30s, I don't know, building, you want to get the heritage and also put it in your space. So that actually works well too. So
yeah, I don't have anything to add. Okay, so next is neutral versus bold. I think it's similar to the minimalist versus maximalist debate, where you like neutral colors like beige, or bold colors like
white,
dark green, blue, reds.
Actually, neutral. So it depends on your personality where you want to go into. Some do like bold. It doesn't necessarily mean bold like everything's bold, and then you can add also some neutral colors. That's white, that's tan, any of the shades of brown, basically beige, creams, and grays and blacks. Those are all neutral colors. But even a neutral color, it can be warm or it can be cool. So warm meaning it tends more on the yellow side, and then cool colors that are neutral tend more on the bluer side. So
I think neutral and versus bold, kasi neutral I think fits more.
A lot of spaces.
More spaces.
It's
more
easier actually to
pair it with something,
right,
rather than bold. It's very specific,
right? But you can still go bold, or let's say not necessarily bold, but have pops of color. Doesn't mean you're neutral and that's all you have, right? You can, for example, in your living room, you can have a neutral sofa furniture, and then you can just change your throw pillows,
Mm-mm.
change your accessories. Well, maybe not all, but those are simple ways to do that. Yun.
Yun na yun.
Wait, so I'm like, yeah. But
Yeah.
definitely, when you add color, it also adds a personality to your space. So I think it has
adds
a lot.
more boom. Ganun.
Yes.
Anyway, so
There really is no best. Only you know what will fit your space. So because it really is on how you live your lifestyle, what mood or ambiance that you wanna feel like,
Yes.
and that would really depend. So all of these will be dependent on on your story. So thank you again for hanging out with us today.
Yep. And we want to hear your opinions also on these debates. So yeah.
Let us know in the comments and catch us here at the Monarch Pop-Up before we move again. And don't forget to subscribe and follow our episodes in Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, and also Spotify.
Okay,
Don't miss us on our next episode.
See you next time.